set ourselves a challenge this morning. We're going to try and keep you off your phones. I know it's dark in here, last day of the conference, and some people like to slide into the back of their seats and catch up on texts and emails. But we're going to try and avoid that. So thank you, Matt. Welcome, everybody. I believe that our industry is at a tipping point. Regulations are evolving, the technology is racing ahead, and end users are asking us to scale. The only way to eliminate complexity is with collaboration. I've never met anybody who got into the drone space because they loved working in silos, doing paperwork, or fighting regulators. More often than not, we got out of our old jobs because we wanted to do something new and exciting. We're all here because we believe in possibility. And possibility expands when we collaborate. And that's going to be the theme of our discussion this morning. We'll cover collaboration from three different lenses. First, from the regulatory perspective with Michelle. Secondly, from the service provider, Scott, who's actually just come out of the field. He was on a pipeline project in Pennsylvania at the start of this week, so I'm glad you're here with us, Scott. And thirdly, from the technology and future with an eye on artificial intelligence and autonomy, and we'll hear from Nitin. So Michelle, I'd like to come to you first. You've spent decades working inside the FAA. Help us understand what collaboration with regulators really means, the type of pressures that they're under, and how the industry can work with them more effectively.
So that's a lot. Basically, the bottom line is the FAA wants to have that pipeline of what I call meaningful intelligence coming from the industry. And that's not necessarily always technical performance envelopes data. It's also how you're thinking, why you're thinking the way you're thinking, the nuances that drive you to create your tech the way you've created it, and how you're using it. So it is a challenge for the FAA, just in general, to try and decode all of the different pieces of feedback that they get from industry. A lot of times it's very cryptic. So imagine you are receiving hundreds of proposals. You are in a position of approving some type of operation, or maybe it's a certification. And the proposals that you get are written in all different kinds of formats, with all different kinds of lenses, using language that is different from aviation. And you have to make sense of that. You have to somehow guess what the intent is, so that you can appropriately approach what a mitigation process could look like to meet the safety needs of the NAS. So this is a challenge that I think we collectively can get after right now. Right, we have opportunities to inform what the automated data collection processes look like, what those proposal forms need to contain, and most importantly, and if Dawn Zoldai is here, she on her Autonomy Global platform, we're doing a series called Words Matter. I can't emphasize that enough, folks. If you are using buzzwords that are either in your IT sector or are outside of the aviation parlance, it's likely that they aren't going to be interpreted the way you intend them to be interpreted. So plain language, super important, and be very blunt, be very clear, because they do that. They want to know what it is that you want to do, how you want to do it, and what you're thinking and why. And that context helps them shape how they then put policy in place, how they then put those form structures together that help you as the proposer, convey what you want to do easier in a way that they can understand and process quicker.
Michelle, in your previous guise in manned aviation, you had similar challenges working with the FAA. Can you give the audience a flavour of the challenges that you experienced when you set up the CDM and how you kind of broke those barriers down? I think mostly in hotel lobbies and perhaps over a drink or two, but I think it's interesting for the audience to hear that the FAA isn't, they're people, and I think you can get somewhere by forming those relationships. Just give us a flavour of the CDM and what that actually meant.
Sure. So this is not the FAA's first rodeo. Back in the early 90s, the legacy aviation, traditional aviation, the airlines, they didn't share information either. They were really adamant about not giving away their market strategies, and they were very uncomfortable with providing too much intel to their competitors. And what we found back in those days, I was an aircraft dispatcher for the airlines. That's my background. And we had a bunch of severe weather days all in a row. And the controllers, the FAA controllers, and my peers, the aircraft dispatchers from the airlines, we were fried. I mean, we were at our wits' end. It was a rough week. And we got together and we duked it out, really. We argued with one another on why things happened the way they happened. Why did you move that flow to the south? You hosed us, we got massive delays, we had misconnects from our passengers. Why did you do that? And the lovely thing about collaboration with people who understand your world is that you start to recognize that you only know what you know. And what we were able to glean from that was the FAA perspective on why they were doing things the way they were doing, which allowed me to say, oh, okay, I didn't know you had that constraint, or I didn't know that your tech wouldn't allow you to do that. I can shift this way a little bit if that would have helped, and then I don't have to take these massive delays, do these go around, or go to my alternate. That's agility, that's organic agility. And so that conversation took root, and it evolved, and all of the airlines came in, and the controllers from all of the facilities, the traffic managers from all the facilities started entering those conversations. And we started creating what is known today as collaborative decision making. And I tell people that's like Google. It's a noun, it's a verb, it's a way of thinking. CDM is definitely in aviation a global known entity. If you were to take away the capabilities that CDM created back in the early 90s, which have evolved and are still in use today, they created their own data set, their own lexicon, their own network, so that they can run efficiently, doing the things they need to do to flow the traffic safely across the NAS. If we were to take that away from the airlines today, they would not be happy. It would be tough. I think we have that same opportunity here with this community. We're right now in our nascent stages where it's uncomfortable sharing information. We have a lot of competitors. However, there are lessons that we can learn from legacy aviation that actually show the more information we're able to share in a meaningful way, the more efficiencies we can gain. I know it kind of sounds like an oxymoron, but the more intelligence that you're able to get, the better you can plan. And the better you can plan, the more efficiencies you can build in. It's not easy to do that with this industry right now because we're just starting and we don't have the volume. However, it's not going to be long before we've got CVS delivering somebody's prescriptions and we've got an Amazon package coming in. And oh, by the way, my tacos are almost here. And they're all coming to the same place. And we do have to have some level of nuanced sharing of information that helps us figure out together what those priorities need to be. What do those safety cases need to look like? And are we considering things like who is flying the longest that would have the most battery risk.